Why has this whole alpha male thing become so popular these days? Because I mean, if you think about it, right? If you look at, let's say, a wolf pack, right? They've got a hierarchy. They've got the alpha, then they've got the soldiers, they've got even if you see the way they hunt or the way they migrate from one area to another, how they've got the weak ones kind of in the middle, you got the soldiers, and then the alphas in the back, overlooking everything. This whole alpha mentality has become so popular these days. But then when you come to think of it, let's say, for example, let's say Arno, Joe, and I, if we three of us consider ourselves an alpha, how could there be three alphas in the same pack? There's typically one alpha. So how do you how do you overcome the battle of who's the alpha, who's the soldier, who I mean, everybody wants to be an alpha these days.
Everybody wants to be the king.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody wants to be the king, and I know we've got a beta issue right now because
No,
we're
it's
overpopulated
if
with
you,
beta men out there. But I mean, how do you
yeah,
explain that?
society these days, man. They're deflating men, and a lot of men are deflated. And lost their alphaness. I feel every man should have an alpha in him. Should have alphaness in him. It's not meaning to go punch a wall and break a wall. That means you're alpha, or you intimidate someone, or you have big muscles. You're an alpha. You don't need to have big muscles to be an alpha. Just have integrity to yourself. Don't be afraid to speak up. Have confidence. A lot of people, a lot of men, have become weak. They've introduced into their life a lot of feminism. And men are finding it hard to become men these days, and they're choosing roles of feminism. So that's what's destroying relationships. That's what's destroying also life. So a lot of influencers, or someone that the alphaness is coming is to, and that's also what I'm also bringing to the table, that men, you need to become men again. A man is an alpha. He is an alpha in a relationship as well. The man is a king in his home. So when you persuade yourself as an alpha, you need to be an alpha in your home. Be the male, be the man. I get a lot of DMs. Where are the men? Where are the men, Ali? Come to Rhode Island. Come to Spain. Come to here. There's no men anymore. There's no real men. They're all weak. And you look at also men these days. What are they doing? They're sitting on the PlayStation games, gambling, cards, football, all this bullshit that not allowing them. They're not being the best men that they can be. So then females are ending up taking up, being more independent, taking up alpha traits. An alpha person, a man should provide, go work, be a strong person, not a weak person, not be intimidated easily by another man. Me, I'm a strong man, but when I see a weak man, I'm disappointed. I want to help him out. I want to lift him. But there's guys that choose to stay in that quality of a man. So, and then they go complain why they're not successful in their jobs, why they're not successful in their homes, why their wife left them, or why their wife does not respect them, or with their girlfriend, or why they lost their girlfriend, or why they're having issues, is because men lost the alphaness in them. So that's why, we're pushing, because there's so many men in this world that lost this. It's the biggest thing that you need to put back in men right now, is the alphaness.
I think the feminist movement is the one that ruined the alpha male.
Exactly.
Chivalry, when they say, oh, chivalry is dead. Yeah, chivalry was killed by the feminist movement. Men used to be able to open doors for women, and the woman would thank the man. It was a role that they played. But now it's like, I could open up my own door. Men would pay for bills. Well, I could pay my own bills.
See,
Men
that's
would
an
pay.
alpha. If you don't mind me adding to, that's an alpha. That's an alpha that opens the door. That he's showing his strength. He's allowing his strength to be.
It's protection.
Instead
It's
of
respect
it's
to his
protection and
wife, to his
providing.
girlfriend.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's alphaness.
See, you look at some of these older films back in like the 1950s, where all the men were dressed a certain way, suit and tie. The nice top hats going on. Movies you would watch where it was raining, there was a puddle, the man would take his coat off, put it down so the woman's feet wouldn't get
100%.
wet. See, those little things now that back then were looked at as, that's what a man should look like.
Because they didn't have Balenciaga jackets back then. That's why.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Or now we have tampons in men's bathroom. That's the difference.
I remember there was, I forget which gangster movie it is. You're a movie buff, maybe you'll know, but there was one of these gangster movies where he's kind of guiding, I think, one of his, soldiers, or as to like how to know if you're dating the right woman, and if
Bronx Tale?
Is it Bronx Tale?
I think so.
Where this is way before now we have the keyless go cars and you click a remote, you could open your door with your phone and all that. This is way before that, when things were actually manual. He's like, open the door for her, let her sit, but you don't unlock your door. And if she leans over and unlocks your door, she's the one. If she doesn't, that means she's selfish, right? What is
Yes,
that, Bronx Tale?
that is Bronx Tale. Sonny is basically teaching.
I told you
him
this guy would
that,
know.
Yeah, he's like, he says it. He says, open the door for her, get in. If she doesn't unlock your door, dump her.
Yeah. And to unlock it, she had to lean over and actually pull the pin up. It wasn't like just click and
Yeah, because it's from the old Bronx days of the mafia and the gangsters going on, where those old Cadillacs and Lincolns were all around town. She would have to lean over to actually click the door.
Now,
but Bronx Tale, amazing movie. But
now I gotta go watch it. But now the girl sits there, and the first thing is she probably takes her phone and takes it. Oh, you're going out to Malibu.
Yeah. Ali, what do you think? You think society is doomed at this point with men and women? Because look, it's not only the men as well; it's the women that play a role in this as well, as far as screwing up how men are.
Again, if a man gets back his alphaness, he can align her back in place. A lot of ladies need guidance, and if they're not guiding them the right way, they end up doing things their way. How is a woman there's a lot of ladies, excuse me, just like there's men that accomplish life a little bit better than other men. There's ladies the same thing. So if she goes and meets a man and she's smarter than him in a decision, or she's smarter than him in work, or she can make more money than him, and because he's not qualified like that, of course why should she settle for less? So a lot of men are not tapping into their alphaness, and these women are being allowed to go tap into the alphaness themselves. And again, society where we go back to the social media and and the movies, and what society is trying to persuade or break men is also from a higher power man that's out there trying to break men. When you give a woman all this independence and all this control that to do, and these empowering a woman in so many ways, that's also makes it even more harder for a man to become an alpha as well. So it's very hard, but you still gotta, no matter what, that's where we go about walk like a king or walk like you don't give a fuck. If society is calling for by a upper king or upper government or whatever, walk like you don't give a fuck, man. Do your thing, So yeah.
So you mean wearing a mask and staying home is not doesn't fit that?
No.
6 feet apart from
6
everybody.
feet apart doesn't fit into the king alpha mentality.
No.